Hi everybody, welcome to another video on the channel. I haven't put something out in a couple of weeks, so I thought it was time to put something out that was fresh. Today we're going to do a couple of things. Today we're going to warm up with the pick drill, talk a little bit about core, what we should be doing with our core, how it should feel, and then we're also going to be talking about really as we're taking strokes, we're connected from fingers to toes all the way through, right from the beginning of the stroke to the end of the stroke. I think sometimes the stroke is taught legs, back, then arms, and I don't think that does justice to the way in which we should be rowing correctly. So in this video, we're going to do talk about some technical stuff. We're also going to do 4 8-minute pieces with 90 seconds rest in between. And the goal for the workout is to keep the heart rate within about 65% to 75% of max heart rate. We don't want to go higher than 75%. So if we start to hit that limit, we're going to back off a little bit. The key here is to put the ego on the shelf and understand that the win is to keep the heart rate in that particular zone for this training, not how fast we're going. Ultimately we want to look at that over time, 2 or 3 months, weeks, but not worry about an individual data point. We want to be tracking our data as we go for these different steady state workouts. The other thing I wanted to mention is I'm really pleased to announce that I've just released a book, an ebook at this point, but I'm working on the print distribution options. It's called Indoor Rowing, Learn to Row Fundamentals, and it really is sharing a lot of my insights and knowledge, some things I don't put on the channel, some sort of secrets to helping us move better on a rowing machine, and certainly able to apply in a boat, although it is focused on the rowing machine to be accessible for people who are just getting started in the sport. If you're interested in that book, I'm going to leave a link to it in the comments to a link on my website. Check it out, and it's just a good way if you're finding some value from the channel to support the channel and really just help me in my quest to get as much knowledge out there as possible and help people like you learn how to row. So with that said, I'm gonna hook on in here. We're gonna do a quick pick drill warm up, and as I'm working through the pick drill, I'm going to talk about various different aspects to the stroke. First of all, I'm going to talk a little bit about core control. So when you're thinking about how you should control your core, there's an analogy that I learned when I was up at Craftsbury one summer. That's up in Vermont. It's a sculling camp. So if you're looking to learn how to row the single, I highly recommend that you search for Craftsbury up in Vermont. They have great coaches up there. You're out in the single 3 times a day. It's a lot of fun. But what I learned up there was to think about this core control. We want to be, we want to be sitting up. We want to have good posture. And one way to think about it is imagine that there's a person living in your belly button, which I know sounds kind of weird, but that person has a flashlight and they're shining that flashlight like this horizontally. However, if you collapse your core and you're not sitting correctly, that flashlight, the belly button, just starts to angle up. So if you think about that core control and sort of focus on your belly button and making sure that you're sitting in a way that that flashlight is shining forward, then you're in a good place to have your core under control. The other effect of that is it controls your lower spine. Sometimes I see people rowing and their lower spine is tucked in underneath them. The posture isn't good, which creates problems about swinging forward on that recovery. The second thing I'm going to talk about is how do we connect our body from fingers to toes all the way through. I think sometimes rowing is taught, legs, back, and arms, or keep the arms straight, and I think some communication gets confused in the way. When we're rowing along, off the beginning of the catch, we want to activate our arms. Now hear me on this one. When I say activate the arms, the intent there is to activate the arms so that the muscles of the upper and the middle back can get in on that movement. I am not saying engage the arms so that you grab at the beginning of the stroke and do more of a bicep curl. This is all about engaging the arms so we can get the lat involved and transmit the power effectively through our body. We always want to be thinking about connecting with the machine, as a whole motion, right? So drills are helpful, but they have limits in the sense that they really take you out of the whole. So this workout, I'm going to weave those concepts into there so you can be thinking about those things that will help you really row more effectively and just more confidently. So I'm going to start off with a pick drill here, and I've got my Row Perfect map on my phone, and that's in the top left-hand corner. You don't need to be on a Row Perfect. You could be on a water row, or you can be a Concept 2 rower. You can be on Hydro if you're watching this. It doesn't really matter what rowing machine you're on because nothing's really specific to any rowing machine. It's really just thinking about the rowing stroke in general. So I'm going to get started here with a pick drill, and pick drill's really great drill. We're going to go arms only because ultimately what we're doing with this drill is working towards the end of the stroke right here, right? Everything leads to how fast is the wheel traveling once we're here at this position. So if you think back 300 years, then at that point the sliding seat had not been invented. My point is you can learn an awful lot about rowing without needing the seat to move, right? Learning, ultimately, we are going to be judged at the end of that stroke. So even now, I'm working on being engaged, becoming one with the machine, or grokking with the machine, if you like the Heinlein reference. And I'm connected fingers to toes. So as I start to take that stroke, my fingers have it, it's going through my back, into my hip, and then through the feet, into my feet and my toes. All right, so think about how you're hanging off that frame. We're gonna go arms and body in 2, in 1. On this one, arms and body. And again, working to that release point. You can see from my force curve that I'm picking it up and I'm working my back and my arms together. It's very organic. And I'm just swinging back and forth and trying to get that rhythm. Think about the whole motion. My feet are pushing. My fingers, my toes are connected all the way through. And I'm getting some good acceleration right through to the end of the stroke. All right, we're gonna go half slide. And that's 1 and 2 on this one, half slide. So I'm watching core control now. I'm making sure that my core and my belly button are under control. Imagining that person living in my belly button, however weird that sounds, but their flashlight is shining directly horizontally. Now parallel with the chain, and that's a good way to make sure that you're controlling your core, you're governing your posture, and that lower spine isn't under you. You're controlling it. As I start, I'm really picking up the catch with the feet, but I am engaging my arms so that my lats and my mid and upper back are engaged. What I'm getting is a pretty nice smooth force curve. I'm focused on the whole movement. I could probably improve on the second half, but that concurrent activation leads to a very agreeable beginning force application. And we'll go full slide in 2, 1, 2, time float. There. You'll notice that my beginning of my recovery, I'm letting my arms and my body flow out together, hinging at the hip, right? As opposed to this where I'm going arms and then body, right? If I'm rowing like a robot, here's what I'm doing. In reality, once you get up to speed, it's going to be a very fluid application. Those compartmentalized pieces will all flow together into one graceful motion. All right, about a 6-minute warm-up. I'm gonna go to another 20 seconds. Activate the arms. If you get it right with the legs and the back, when you activate the arms are kind of forced straight. Okay, last one, here we go. Okay, so that's a good warm-up, 6 or 7 minutes to kind of talk about, you know, those things that I think are important in this training session. So again, we're working on the core, you know, sitting up, controlling that person, making sure that flashlight is shining directly forward. I know it sounds weird, but it actually works pretty well when you think about what the analogy means in terms of core control. Excuse me. And then, you know, connecting fingers to toes, right? Right off the front end. Not grabbing because we're activating the arms, but we're activating the arms so that they can connect and help us suspend our body weight off the oar handle between the handle and the seat. All right, that's the key. So our goal on this is 4 8-minute pieces with 90 seconds rest. So I'm going to go ahead and set mine up for that here. I have it pre-programmed in, but if you need to stop the video now and set your machine up for 8 minutes of work and 90 seconds of rest, 1:30 of rest, that'd be cool. So here we go, start training, and there we go. So we got 480 seconds on each shot here, and we're gonna get going. It is an idea, but for the purposes of the length of the video, we're not going to do it, but it's a good idea to just make sure that your drag factor on your Concept 2 is not very high, around about a 4 or 5, depends on you. A stretching routine is really good at this point. I did some stretching beforehand, but I will link to a graphic in the comments along with the book that you can use. It's a good stretching flow, and full credit where credit's due. It came from a video made by Will Ruth, the Rowing Stronger coach, and I basically hired somebody to make graphical images. So if that's helpful to you, you can go ahead and use that. Mobility, sometimes people feel in more pain because they're not doing their stretching and the mobility. So there it is. All right. What I will do here, actually, before I get going here, is set the split metric here. So I'm going to the app, and I'm gonna go and change that to heart rate, so you can see what my heart rate is. I'm not worried about the split. I need the time because I need to know when to start and stop. And we'll put stroke rate up there too, because I think that's helpful to some people as well. All right, we're gonna go in 5 seconds, 8 minutes on, 90 seconds off, times 4. And watching our heart rate. For me, my heart rate is gonna be about 120 to 135. That's my zone. I don't wanna go higher than 135. I don't wanna be much lower than 120. Although it will take some time for me to get my heart into that range. But as the pieces progress, it becomes quicker to do that. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Trying to get into that rhythm. Around about 19. And just trying to get into a nice flow state here. This is going to be a good 32 minutes of steady state. Around about a 20. Watching my core, making sure I'm sitting up. That starts at the core. And I'm just tapping this machine along right now. $115. Feels good to be getting some exercise. Just settling into it now. Thinking about the flow. Instantaneous catch. Catching through the foot stretcher. Catching with the knees. And we're in zone 120. Great. Everything flows. Nice and relaxed. How we doing? $122. That's it. One cut through the stroke. Not legs back, then arms. Pushing the machine away. activating my arms. $124, $125 now. Good, I'm right here. How we doing? Swing and go. Halfway in this one. 124. Feeling that my whole body is helping. Fingers to toes. I can feel my core engage there. It's like catching a cannonball in your stomach. Alright, I want to watch my pace here. Maybe drop the rate a bit. But I'm right in zone here. 125 to 135. And I know that this is good training. It might not feel the hardest I can go, but it's money in the bank. So now I'm flowing. I'm not worried about any particular part of this. You know, we don't want to have math equations in our head when we row. One of those sports where you can find flow and where there's flow, there's control. Good. Locking in at the catch, making sure I've got it in terms of the connection. $128. Good. I don't need to do anything more. I am enough. There we go. Last 40 seconds, length and flow. Well done. Flowing into the next stroke. Good. And that's one down, right? So in this 90 seconds, you can either grab some water or paddle light. You could get off the machine for 45 seconds and stretch out a little bit. Sometimes hip flexors get a little bit tight. I might do that between another set. I think I'm okay for right now. So hopefully that was a good flow, showing you where to train effectively. You know, and the idea being that if you have some easy days, then on a hard day, and this is not a hard day, but on a hard day, you can make it really hard. All right, knowing, you know, that the top athletes in the world don't train hard every single day, right? Otherwise, you just get into this unsustainable cycle, and biochemically you break down. And we want the training to be sustainable, right? So it's not generally a good idea to download any workout you find online without a context to it. Some are okay, but you know, we want to be taking the long view on your training. All right, here we go. We're going again, and go. So another 8 minutes. Again, sitting up. Control the core. Trying to hit that heart rate zone appropriately. Glide into that front end. Instantaneous catch with the legs. Activate your chain. Fingers to toes. I'm letting my arms flow away, letting my body follow. Hinging at the hip. Arriving nice and relaxed. Should be relaxed the whole time. But if I arrive organized at the front end, all I gotta do is push through the foot stretcher and get my arms engaged so that they are ready to work in terms of flex at the right point. All right, we're 127. So I'm in zone again. Good. Just going to work on my core here. Make sure I'm sitting up from the core. Yeah, that feels better. $128, $129. Good. Still in zone. Flow. Good. Working on solid connection. 128, good. Coming through halfway. One movement. One drive. Not legs back then arms. One drive. Sort of pushing the machine away. All the way through on the foot stretcher. Don't let that foot stretcher get away from you during the second half of that stroke. All right, coming into 130 here. So I'm going to be savvy. Watch my intensity just by dropping the rate. That doesn't get you off the hook in terms of rowing well. Again, we are not concerned with pace. We are just trying to hit that 65, 75% zone for that 32 minutes of work. Good. Control. Body swings. Set. Don't let your knees up too early. Really important to establish that forward body angle here. So you can just bring the machine to you under control. A little bit of work in the hammies, heels. You can feel that machine, if you're on a row, perfect. Float underneath you. If you're in a boat, imagine that boat running, right? We work to here and then work on that preservation of momentum. 132, good. 133, a little higher. Let me be a bit more savvy here. Flow. Seconds to go. Sitting up. Control the core. Good, guys. Well done, folks. And there it is. Right, so I finished that at 130, 129. I can still have a conversation with you, which is where we want to be. Yeah, I'm definitely moved into UT1 because it's not that easy to talk to you, but I think people are surprised when they train correctly and they do their foundational work just like this, and maybe even a lower heart rate, 120 for me. Say my max heart rate is 180, then my UT1 max is 135. and my UT2 min is probably down in the 110s, 115s. I need to do the math on that, but you know, 60 to 70% UT2. You know, sit at 65%. 75% is probably your top end UT1. As soon as you start going 78, 79, 80, you might feel like it's a steady state, but you may be doing a low level anaerobic threshold. So that's why I'm sticking to below the 135, so I know I'm not going near 78% or 80%. We kind of go from there. Here we go. Off we go. That's it, almost missed it. Got there in time. Straight into it. Right? By now, you should feel a little looser. Be able to get into the flow of things. That's it. We got under 16 minutes to go. Hope you're learning something here. I'm having fun getting a workout in and providing coaching. So I'm at 127. I'm gonna sit here. Not gonna try to be too much of a hero on this. That is not the goal. The ego should be on the shelf. The smart training is right here. That's it. Connected from fingers to toes, from catch to release. Suspend here. So feel a little bit of weight lifting off the seat. It's just like catching a cannonball in your stomach. (131), 132. Still in zone, but being cognizant of that. Check your core. Make sure you're sitting up. Flashlight shining ahead. Sounds like a strange analogy, I know, but it gives you a visual on where you should be controlling your lower spine, your core, and so forth. 132, good. Just making sure I'm not creeping up. So now, 3 pieces in, it's not hard to try and hit that max. Yeah, see here I am, 134. So I'm gonna back off. I'm still gonna hold my technical model. There we go. 133. So just drop the rate a bit. Glide and enjoy it. One motion. One cycle. You want to row like a cheetah, right? You ever slow a cheetah down on a YouTube video and watch the mechanics of that, you're going to get a good idea of what we're aiming for as far as organic flow. All right, I'm going to watch that heart rate and know that I'm doing enough. It's not tremendously hard, but I am getting some training effect out of it. All right, 2 minutes to go. Total last 10 minutes. 2 minutes in this segment. 132, I like it. I'm in zone. Continuing to flow around the release and back end here. All right, 135. I gotta watch it here. Getting carried away. So here's how you handle it. You don't see the technique falling away, but the rate is down in an 18. I just take the edge off a little bit. Control. Good. Just gliding into those last 20 seconds. See, I've taken it down. Good. All right, so I think there was one stroke there, or maybe two, where I went 136. Certainly not the end of the world, but when you're hitting that top of the UT zone, you can feel it, right? So even if you didn't have an app or a rowing machine with a readout monitor, you can tell when things are starting to get on for that anaerobic threshold, that low anaerobic threshold, and you can just tell. So the rests are tactical. The 90-second rests are tactical because, number one, psychologically it allows you to get through a 30-odd minute steady state a little bit better, rather than like, I gotta do 30 minutes in a row, right? The second benefit of the 90 seconds rest is your heart rate comes down, right? Mine's down at 118 right now. You can see that on the screen, right? It's coming down. So it's this sort of mechanism for keeping the heart rate down. I need to hurry here because I'm just talking again and I'm going to miss the start of this one. So, need to be a good coach. Start on time. All right, last one, same again. Keeping that heart rate in zone. Well done. If you're still here, and the great thing about this is you're gonna feel worked out by the end of this. You're not going to feel exhausted and need to take a day off. So when I put training plans together, I'm thinking about, first of all, where is this person right now in terms of experience? What are their goals? What are their technical challenges? And adjusting the volume to make it just right. Smart training rather than just cut and paste programs that you can Google. I've spent 35 years getting to this point of understanding. So, as if it takes you 6 to 8 weeks of this type of training, be patient. But what I will say to you is you could do this workout today and hopefully you're tracking things like heart rates and watts. And if you do the same thing again 8 weeks later, hopefully a couple of things may happen. First of all, you can perform the same split at a lower heart rate, or your heart rate's still at the same level that it was 6 to 8 weeks ago, but you're creating more watts for the same amount of physiological input. So we don't need a 2K to test if we're getting better. We can see it because we do that self-monitoring piece. I have a way in my training system that I built to be able to do that analysis very quickly at the click of a button. And it tells me very quickly if we're moving in the right direction or something needs to change. So, (132), right on it. Last half of this piece, checking posture, sitting up. Fingers to toes. Flow. All right, I'm going to go silent for a couple of minutes here. Let you row it out. one motion. It's at 1.5 minutes to go. I'm at 135, so I'm gonna watch it. It's not uncommon at the end of the workout to be right up there at your UT1 max. So I'm just going careful here. Rowing smart. Last 30, bringing the rate down. Stay around 135 for me. Might be a bit different for you. Okay, good stuff. So, there it is, folks. We just did a pick drill. We talked a little bit about core control, flashlight person, you get it. We talked a little bit about activating the whole body, even though, you know, the legs are going to do the work. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but in order to get your back and your lats and your upper back and your mid back, we got to activate the arms a little bit. You know, if you try and do this and don't activate your arm and try and activate your lat, you can't do it. But if you activate your arm, you can get that lat to turn on, right? So just try that if you don't believe me, because it's all about getting this where it inserts into, you know, where it inserts into the motion. And you can't do that with passive arms. I know I'm going to have my critics on that, but that's my position and that's where I stand. So thank you for watching. If you haven't liked the video, please go ahead and like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Remember, there is a link to a warm-up flow in the comments below, as well as a link to my, at this point, ebook, although at some point in the future it's going to be a print edition. So if you're watching this video, you know, a month or two after I've recorded it, you should be able to have access to a print edition. In that book are 9 YouTube videos that are not available publicly on the channel that really work you through one end of the stroke to the other. And so I hope you check it out, and even if you don't buy it, checking it out would mean a lot. And if you know of a friend or somebody that might benefit from it, you know, some people, you know, prefer different ways of learning. So a book might be helpful rather than a YouTube course. So, but in this I've got both. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate everybody who writes to me, neil@coachbergenroth.com, to tell me they're enjoying the videos. People who leave comments below, they're greatly valued. I try to reply to every comment or question. If there's something you want to see on the channel, please let me know. But for now, my advice would be to do a 5 to 10 minute cool down. I'm gonna let you do that. But I'm gonna sign off here. But thank you for watching the channel and being a subscriber and being a part of the community. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.